LeBron James has finally made his decision, and bit of a shocker. He's going to the Philadelphia 76ers, and I heard the rumors. I didn't initially see it coming, and I'm going to do a disclaimer. This channel, I know we went all the way to NFL content. Anytime LeBron makes a seismic move like this, it's going to get covered. It's going to get covered on here. I think if you look at this move for not only the 76ers, but LeBron James, it's interesting. It's an interesting wrap to the end of his career. But I think if you're looking at it from a perspective of his best chance to win a title, this is the fit. I think if you're looking at it, this may be the best team he's ever played on before. If you look at it, if they stay healthy. Now, obviously, that 2012 Heat team comes to mind really good, but I don't think that they had as many well-rounded players as this Philadelphia 76ers team is going to have. Now, obviously, LeBron is not the player he was in 2012, in 2026, but at the same time, if you look at it, if everybody stays healthy, and I know Embiid has had these issues, hopefully if he communicates with LeBron a little bit, there can be a little bit more of a sense of urgency to realize how important and how crucial these next 2 years are going to be. But I think if you look at it, you have Tyrese Maxey at the point guard. You have Jaylen Brown now, who has been phenomenal, not only phenomenal, but dependable for his entire tenure with the Boston Celtics, Finals MVP, by the way. And then you have VJ Edgecombe, young guy that had just an awesome first year to get things going. And on top of that, you have former MVP Joel Embiid with LeBron James. If you tandem this together, if they stay healthy, there's no reason why they wouldn't win the title. Now, obviously, you run into that very question and that very notion. Are they all going to be able to stay healthy? And I think that's going to be, without question, the biggest debate to whether this team can really run the table and win it all. If you're looking at it from, well, let's just break down what this means for the other teams. I think part of me and part of a lot of other people wanted him to go to Cleveland, wanted him to write that final chapter there. And I think if you're thinking about it here, I think he had the perfect ending to his story in Cleveland. I think he's already won that title there. I don't know if he goes there, if it makes them an instant contender. I really don't. I think that obviously he would have been put in situations where they could have won the title, but I don't know if they would have. So I don't think it tarnishes anything. There's going to be people that don't like this move, but I think he had already finished what he needed to finish in Cleveland. Would it have been a storybook ending? Yes, but I kind of understand why he didn't go back there. Also, might just not wanted to have played with some of the players on that team. Very possible. And I don't know if him going there would have moved the needle for the championship. Maybe, but we will never know. Golden State was always a joke to me. There was no way. I think if you look at LeBron's biggest rivals, the Boston Celtics and the Golden State Warriors, it just would have looked weird if he would have finished his career there. And you go on top of that, it would have been him and Steph against the world. Like, they don't have anybody else. They would not have been able to compete for a title. They were trying to trade for AD, weren't able to do that. I don't even know if AD would have been able to really bridge that gap for them as it is. So then you go in to the Miami Heat, and I would have liked to see him play for the Miami Heat. I think that was the team where there could have been something. You would have had him and Giannis and Bam. Not a championship contender with just those three guys. You would have had to build out a team, and they had no money after that point. So that's where you would have ran into some issues. But I think if you're looking at the best possible situation in terms of winning a title, I think you look no further than the Philadelphia 76ers. I think a lot of things are going to come true from this. I think when you look back at that Jaylen Brown trade and the pieces that were put in place for that, it might go down as the worst trade in NBA history. It might. How do you trade a finals MVP for Paul George and some throwaway picks? It was really mind-boggling when they did it, but now LeBron going there, it's going to double down on this, and I think they win the title next year. And I think that might come as a shocker to some people, but I think they win the title next year. And I know that obviously you have the Spurs, you have OKC, but I think if you just look at this team, I think that, and some of it is on Embiid. Embiid does have to stay healthy. He still has to roll with the punches. He needs to be there. But if you have this core, then certainly they're going to get through the East. The Celtics aren't going to be what they were. Jaylen Brown, I don't know why people continue to dog on Jaylen Brown, but I think he might be better than Jason Tatum. I don't know why nobody ever phrases it that way. He's the finals MVP. He led the Celtics to this incredible record. They didn't start losing games till Tatum came back. So I think when you're looking at this from a full scope perspective, you have Jaylen Brown, who I think on any given day is certainly a top 10 player, maybe a top 7 player in the NBA. You have Embiid, who on any given day is a top 7 player in the NBA. Then you have LeBron, who I think can still flash a top 10 guy. And then on top of that, you have Maxey, who is just developing into this great point guard. And then Edgecombe, who knows? The sky is the limit. So you factor all this together, they're going to have to sign some veteran guys, obviously, to fill out the rest of the roster because now they're in full championship mode. But I'm looking at this team, and I like what he did. I think it'll be a good final chapter. He'll be competitive. This team is going to be a lot better than those Lakers teams. And I think it's a show to really all the organizations that he wanted to join a team that was going to be serious about winning a title. If you look at the 76ers, what this whole stretch has been, the trust the process, all the intangibles of it, they figured it out, and it looks like they finally figured it out to the max in the end. And I can't name a better offseason ever. I think single-handedly, outside of the Miami Heat's year where they got LeBron and Bosh, I cannot think of a better offseason where you acquire Jaylen Brown for nothing, and then you get LeBron for $8 million. 2 years, $8 million. LeBron James. It's mystifying. It's interesting, but I think the more you look into it, this is a huge moment. And I think if you're a LeBron fan, I think this is a great moment as well because it gives him a fighting chance. Some of those Lakers teams were really, really tough to watch. 2022 was brutal. The Westbrook years. 2023, they had some momentum. 2024, they just couldn't get past the Nuggets. And then they just refused to build out the roster the past 2 years. But LeBron showed he can still be that guy. Jaylen Brown is looking to break through as that guy. Embiid has been that guy before. They have guys on this team. I think even if Embiid isn't a factor, like let's say he's just not a factor. Even if he's not a factor, I still think you have something here. I still think you have something with this team. I am going to be watching this a lot. I'll buy tickets to some of these games. Who knows how many games LeBron has left? I think he's going to look good in those uniforms. If you're looking at that all black look with the Sixer, like it's going to be hype. And I'm excited for the year. And if you look at it, it's a good opportunity for him to get another title. He's not going to be the finals MVP on this team. He is going to play the role that he's going to play. But I still I still think he's going to be the leader of this team. Now, I think he passes it over to Jaylen Brown, but I think if you're looking at the hierarchy of this team, Embiid's never healthy. I still think he's going to go in there and set a standard. And I think it's exciting. I think it's exciting for the NBA. Extremely exciting for Philadelphia. This is a huge win for them. I don't know if they're going to see it now, but what the impact economically of LeBron playing for your team, what that's going to do over the next 2 years is going to be like, there's going to be people lining up. So that arena is going to be sold out every night. So it's a bigger move than I think people think it is. And I really do think it moves the needle. I think it moves the needle for this team. I think they win the title next year. And I think that might be like a super bold, but Thunder have lost some pieces. The Spurs, I see the Spurs as a worthy contender that maybe you get to that finals and it's not close enough. But I just think given that starting five, if they can stay healthy through a playoff run, that's going to be really, really tough to beat if they can stay healthy through a playoff run. So I think healthy, without question, they run the table and they win the title. Without Embiid, I still think they get to the finals. Maybe they lose to the Spurs. But I know it's very early predictions, but I just think that if you look at this whole process, Philly was the best chance of a title. Cleveland was the best story. And I think if you're looking at it, I am from Ohio. I get it. It hurts. But at the end of the day, he made a business decision, as he should, and he went with the team that's going to give them the best shot at a title. So I support it, and it's going to be a Sixers season. So we'll see. But LeBron James has made his decision. He's on the Sixers.